concepts of love and how we interpret it. And that's going to lead us right into journal prompt 20, exploring personal interpretations of love. Journal prompt 21, exploring which type of love you value the most. Exercise 20, self love collage. Exercise 21, exploring barriers to self love. And journal prompt 22, reflecting on barriers of self love. Right. So lots of exercises and journal prompts there. And it's important because most of us think that we love ourselves, but we aren't really participating in things that would prove that we love ourselves at all. That is to say, we participate in ways of thinking that harm us. We allow ourselves to be in relationships or situations that are damaging to us. Those are all signs that we don't love ourselves well. Now, I have a lot of people who always tell me, like, love is a journey. And I'm here to tell you, you're full of crap. Love is not a journey. The decision to love yourself is a journey, and it will be as long and laborious as you make it. But once you make the decision to love yourself, you just do. You just do. So, what most people are doing is they're deliberating on whether or not they deserve love. And a lot has been done to us that we don't even recognize. We see love as a commodity. And because of how we've been socialized to capitalism and to frame everything through the value of capitalism, we believe that if it is freely given, it has much less value than love that we have to work for. And so, even within ourselves, we make ourselves work for the love and labor for the love that we could very freely give ourselves. To that point, we also do this with external relationships, right? If someone approaches me and they love me too easily, I'm very suspicious of it, or I seek to take advantage of it. Those are normally the first two instincts. It isn't to trust that they love you, and for good reason. Most of us are walking around not loving each other well. We use love as a means to manipulate each other. But at our core, we should be able to accept love that is freely and generously given without making us labor for it. But again, because we see love as a commodity, we in turn really only see its value if we have to labor for it, while being really resentful of having to labor for it. This is saddest to me when we do it to ourselves. When you withhold from yourself something that can be so freely given because we have learned to prioritize some types of love over others, right? Like, really, what is the most ultimate love in our society? It's romantic love. It is. We might say it's family love, but that is still born of romantic love, right? Like, the greatest love I will ever have, as told to me by society, is for me to marry someone, that love between us, and then for me to have children, that love between us, right? There's never a focus on self love. There's never a focus on community love. There's never focus on the types of love that can really help build, a coalition that can change things. And why don't they encourage that? Because there is so much power there. There's tremendous power there. So they teach us to rack and stack and make priorities of some love over the other. But I'm here to tell you that all love is exactly the same. Relationships are not. And that's an important thing to consider. Okay. I had a discussion in my shadow work course the other day, and there were women saying, well, I don't really like myself. So how can I love myself? And they seem to think that love was an extension of like. Like is love just a little bit turned down, but no, like and love are not even related. They really aren't. Okay. Love is this energy that I'm just going to give, this beautiful energy that I'm going to give quite easily to everything, right? Love to me, how I have defined love for myself, and we all need to do that for ourselves, means a promise that I will do no harm to myself first or to others. And if in protecting myself, I must harm another, I'm going to cause the least amount of harm possible. Love is a promise. Love is action. Love should be unconditional. Like should absolutely be conditional. I don't just like everything, right? I need to have discriminating taste to an extent because that helps to protect me. Love is unconditional. Relationship and access to me should absolutely be conditional. So while I love everyone, I don't like everybody. No. While I love myself completely, I don't like everything that is done or that I do. I don't like all of my ways of being. And so I need to address that, right? I don't always like myself. I don't always like how I show up, but I always love myself. I always maintain that promise and that commitment to myself. I'm not going to abandon myself, right? So so I really do believe that all love is the same. I don't think there's familial love, community love, romantic love. No. And as someone who really does stand in integrity with themselves and love quite freely, I love everyone exactly the same. I don't love my children more than I love anybody else. I am more concerned for my children. I consider my children more than I consider anyone else, right? I feel a duty to my children that I do not necessarily feel to everyone else, to protect them, to provide for them, that I don't necessarily feel for everyone else. In the context of a romantic relationship, I feel a duty to loyalty. There are other requirements by virtue of that relationship, but the love is the same, right? The love is the same. The love isn't any different. The love is the same. I want to share things with you and give you access to my body in a way that I wouldn't a friend that I love, but the love is the same, right? I might give more consideration to you than I give to a friend, but the love is the same. And I say all of this because this is an important reframe, because you think that some love is more valuable than other love. And so you will dismiss family love, or you will dismiss friendly love in your pursuit for romantic love, right? You will allow yourself to be harmed in the context of romantic relationships because you think that that way of love, receiving love, is the most important way of receiving love. And once you understand what love really is, and you understand your power to give it to yourself, you are no longer subject to the whims of others in feeding you well. And I think that that's important. So in these exercises, you are going to look at what kind of love you value the most and why. And we're going to sit with that and deconstruct that and be very honest with yourself. This is a new perspective for a lot of people. So be really patient with yourself as you explore this. But now I also want you to consider why you might be withholding from yourself. Why don't you give yourself the love that you really need and want? Is it, as I posited in the beginning, that you might believe that love freely given and not worked for doesn't have as much value as love that you have to suffer for, and therefore you make yourself suffer even for your love? Is it because you saw your parents not loving themselves well, so you didn't even know that you had the option to love yourself well? You love yourself in a really contrite and shallow way, but that deeper, more profound love. What is stopping you from loving yourself well? Have you made mistakes? Is there unforgiveness inside of you that you are punishing yourself for, that's keeping you from loving yourself? Because truly, the things that we need the most of in this world are the things that we can freely give ourselves and that are infinite: love, belief, trust, confidence. We can all, there, no one can limit how much we can give ourselves. Nobody. They are the very things that we need to thrive. And yet, those are the very things that we withhold from ourselves in greatest measure. There must be some pathology behind that. And that's what you need to sit with and figure out. Why is it so difficult for you to love yourself? Why is it so difficult for you to be kind and gentle and compassionate with yourself? Why is it easier for you to be nasty and cruel and withholding and judgmental and harsh with yourself? Why? What is the point? How does it serve you? And if it serves you well to beat yourself up, what version of yourself, what dysfunction inside of you, what self hate exists inside of you that demands that you feed it so much? How does it serve you? And which version of yourself is it serving? Once you deconstruct that, you can make the choice easily to love yourself radically, the way that you deserve to be loved.